My name is Sasha Monet and welcome to the channel Pro Truth and Provoking Thought. So the other day I was watching this content creator on YouTube and he was talking about some locusts that swarm Mecca. And so, you know me, I don't take people's words for everything. So I just decided to, type it in on YouTube and see what I could find. And lo and behold, I found a couple of videos. And so in today's video, I'm going to share them with you. And I just want to say that I do not believe that this is a coincidence. I do believe that it is a biblical plague and a warning sent by the Most High God to warn people of worshiping false gods. The Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he has a name, and his name is not Lord. His name is not God. His name is Yahuwah, and that is our Creator's Hebrew name. His name is Yahuwah, which means I am, self-existing one. His name is not Allah. And I do believe that the Most High, Yahuwah, sent this warning and this judgment to the nation of Islam to warn them that they are in idolatry and that they are worshiping a false god who goes by the name of Allah. And I don't know a whole lot about the nation of Islam, but I do know that they regard Yahushua HaMashiach, whom the world calls Jesus Christ, as nothing more than a prophet. But Yahushua, and you may know him as Jesus, he is the Son of God. Okay, he is the Son of God. He was a prophet, a priest, and a king. And more importantly, he is and was the Son of God. And that's who he is. And so my thoughts, I believe that, these locusts swarming Mecca during Ramadan, their most holy month, I believe that this is a plague and a judgment sent by the Most High God. So I'm not going to drag my commentary out any further. I'm going to just get right into the video. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comments. And thanks so much for watching. I don't take any of your views for granted. Thanks so much. Bye.
Mecca, the holy city for Muslims, is currently facing a peculiar and unsettling situation. Locals and tourists alike are frustrated and trying to figure out how to deal with the unwelcome guests who are disrupting prayers and daily life. Black grasshoppers, cockroaches, and locusts have been swarming the city, causing chaos and annoyance to both pilgrims and locals. Many people have had to cover their faces and heads during prayers to avoid the pesky insects from interrupting their religious rituals. The source of the infestation is still a mystery, but the local authorities have been working tirelessly to mitigate the situation. The Al-Haram Mosque Authority in Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina have hired an additional team of cleaners and distributed pesticides to control the insects. Although the authorities are doing their best to control the infestation, some worshippers are unhappy with the situation. Instead of being able to fully enjoy their prayers, they have to contend with unwelcome guests. Some have even accused the local authorities of negligence, pointing to the rains and sewers as the cause of the infestation. Despite the negative impact of the infestation, some people see the invasion of insects in Mecca as a special sign. Insects have been an integral part of various cultures, with many believing that they have magical powers. For some, insects like the grasshopper, scarab, and butterfly became totems, while for others, they held significant religious and spiritual meanings. In sacred texts, bees, because they carry honey, symbolize fertility and spring. The Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert believed that mantises could look into the soul and predict the future, as they were once human. Locusts, on the other hand, have long been regarded as a symbol of devastation and disease. In ancient times, people feared the invasion of these hungry insects, which covered the sky and devoured everything in their path. While the insect infestation in Mecca has caused inconvenience to many people, it is essential to remember that insects have been an integral part of different cultures throughout history. Though their presence may cause chaos, it's essential to understand and appreciate their role in our world.
Sign just took place in Mecca, in Islam's most holiest site, where they turn and pray to every day. This happened at the end of their most holiest month, Ramadan, and an infestation, a plague-level event of weird insects came and descended upon Mecca at the end of Ramadan. If you don't know, Ramadan is a month of fasting, prayer, and reflection for the community of Muslims around the world. They abstain from eating, drinking, smoking, anything that's impure or excessive from dawn until sunset. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Of course, at this time, at Islam's most holiest site in the entire world, at Mecca, where they've got the Kaaba, there's plenty of people there to celebrate and partake in Ramadan. Mecca is in the western region of Saudi Arabia. It's Islam's most holiest site. It's got the Kaaba there, the classic symbol everyone knows of the big black square that all the Muslims walk around in a circle. It's a square stone building in the center of the great mosque there at Mecca. The site is the most holiest site to Muslims, and it's towards this which they must face when they're praying. It stands on the site of a pre-Islamic shrine said to have been built by Abraham, and a sacred black stone is set in the southeastern corner. The black stone is of some controversy. It's said to have been placed there by Muhammad, but the theory's been debated. Some claim that this is actually a meteorite. Now, in Islam, as well as in Christianity, of course, in Judaism, and also in Buddhism, plague infestation levels of bugs, of locust-type bugs or grasshoppers, whatever it may be, is a sign of judgment from God normally. We know this most classically because of the plagues of Egypt, the 10 plagues that God brought upon the Pharaoh through Moses right before the Exodus out of Egypt towards Israel. In Exodus 10:3-4, it mentions this plague of the locusts, and it says, "So Moses and Aaron came into Pharaoh and said to him, 'Thus says the Lord God of the Hebrews, how long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go that they may serve me. Or else if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your territory.'" This is very similar and why it seems like it's a prophetic sign of some sort of what just took place in Mecca, with a swarm of locust-type bugs, weird insects infesting the site there, Islam's most holiest site. In 2 Chronicles 7:13, it says, "When I shut up heaven and there is no rain, or command the locusts to devour the land, or send pestilence among my people." Now, this isn't the first time that Mecca has been infested with some type of bug plague level event. Just a couple of years ago in 2019, locusts actually infested the site. Here's a video from January 14th, 2019. It says a swarm of what appears to be locusts descend in a flurry on the Grand Mosque in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The authorities say 138 responders were dispatched to eliminate the plague. And just like in 2 Chronicles there, it talks about God controlling the locusts and that he also controls the rain. And on April 10th, 2023, at Mecca, same site there, they experienced extreme heavy rainfall while all the pilgrims were there for Ramadan. Another verse where we're told in the Bible that God controls the animals is in Job 12:7-10. It says, "But now ask the beasts, and they will teach you, and the birds of the air, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, and the fish of the sea will explain to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In whose hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind?" God, of course, is the one who's in control of all of these events that take place, especially the natural events. So when we see such things as like locust infestations or bug infestations, it should really make one question what's going on at that site. Now, interesting to note about that holy site there at Mecca and the Kaaba, that according to Hadith Islam traditions passed down, what they believe to be inspiration from God, it says that that site will be destroyed once in the last of days, towards the day of resurrection, as they call it. And it says that until the Gog and Magog are let past their barrier, it's reported that someone from Ethiopia will come in, will destroy Kaaba and take its treasure. And this is what Islam teaches. They believe Jesus, of course, to only be a prophet. They don't believe that he is the Son of God, but they say that Jesus will lead an army of 700 and 800 Muslim soldiers and march to fight this person. And while they're marching towards this person, what they say, Allah will send a breeze from the direction of Yemen, which will take the soul of every faithful believer. This is like similar to the rapture, it sounds like. Only of the worst of the people will be left, and they will begin to copulate like animals. At that time, the hour of resurrection will be very close. And time again, like I demonstrated in many videos, that the Quran has very similar teachings to the Bible. The Bible was written hundreds and thousands of years before the Quran, and so we have these strange instances where we have connections in the Quran that sounds like it's just taken from a biblical story, like Gog and Magog, or Jesus coming back, and then all these souls being taken. It's just, you can really tell that it's like something from the biblical text moved in a weird way and then written in the Quran. And probably the last infestation of locust upon the earth, the most terrible one probably of all time that will come. And this may not even be the type of locust that we're thinking of. I believe it's not. But this is in Revelation 9. And it says, "And he opened the bottomless pit, and smoke arose out of the pit like smoke of a great furnace. So the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Then out of the smoke locusts came upon the earth, and to them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power. They were commanded not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green thing, or any tree, but only those men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads." So that will definitely be a swarm of locusts that will be a sign of judgment, just like they really all are. But according to Islam, even though in Islam locusts are a sign of judgment, what do they make of this? Because of course they're not going to say that Allah sent a sign of judgment on Mecca. So they tie it into some weird way, and from what I saw, from the research I did, that they claim it to almost be like a miracle of some sort. And they refer to back when Mecca was closed down during the pandemic, that there was a moment where there was like a flock of birds flying around inside of Mecca at the Kaaba there, and they were saying it's like a miracle from God or from Allah. And that's the only thing I saw. They just referenced that, and I don't know. I don't make the connection, because if that same swarm that descended upon Mecca descended upon Jerusalem, these same Islamic sources would be saying that this was a sign of judgment from Allah on Jerusalem. But then when it happens at Mecca, their most holiest site, they really have no explanation, and they just refer to birds flying around, saying it's like sometimes Allah sends miracles through animals. But it doesn't make sense. Ramadan, your most holiest month, at Mecca, your most holiest site, and you get an infestation of locusts, sounds more like a sign of judgment. That's the way that I would look at it. 1 John chapter 2, verse 22 says, "Who is a liar but he who denies that Jesus is the Christ? He is Antichrist who denies the Father and the Son." And if you
Yahushua said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." John chapter 14 verse 6.